Fine. So these are the tasks we completed so far. So we enabled offerings, we created implementation project, just we gone through manage geographies information. We created accounting calendar, just we discussed about currencies and chart of accounts creation. As a part of that instance and relevant information we defined. By using the 4 C's, we created primary ledger. We specified ledger options where we given retained earnings account as a mandatory account. We created legal addresses, and by using the legal address, we just created legal entity, and we assign legal entity to primary ledger. Within the primary ledger, what are the balance and segment values we have, those we assign to legal entity. And finally we submitted our primary ledger for completion. Just we submitted the primary ledger with the task called as review and submit accounting configuration, where system will validate the information. The same information it will submit to SBase database for multi-dimensional cubes definition, and system will be marking the status as a completed. So after completing this, we assign GL roles to user. We assigned the 5 GL roles to user, right? So these are the roles we assign to our current user, and after that we have to provide data access for user. It's nothing but we have to assign our primary ledger to GL roles. After completing that, we submitted LDAP job. We have to run LDAP job. We just submitted LDAP job for this role synchronization. So what are the roles we assign to the user? To the same roles what are the primary ledger is assigned, that information need to be synchronized in the LDAP directories. For that reason we submitted LDAP job. After that we open the GL periods. Open GL periods. Up to this task we completed as a part of system. So any questions from anyone which are related to these tasks which we completed? Any questions from anyone, please? Fine, no questions. Okay, now we'll see how to create the journal, because for user we assigned GL related roles. Those roles will allow us to create the transactions. So now we'll see how to create journal. Create journal and we'll post it. So after completing this, we can make sure that our ledger is working fine. So we can start with a enterprise structure definition and business units and module specific configurations. Fine. So to create the journal, go to navigator. Okay, there's somebody changing the logo all the time. Okay, I'll just remove and I'll keep Oracle as a default logo. Fine. So we assigned the 5 roles to this user. Because of that reason, system added this section here. Okay, title is general accounting, nothing but general ledger. Under the title we have these 3 tasks. To create the journals, click on journals task. It will take us to journals work area. Okay, it will take us to journals work area. Okay, so whenever you navigate to any work area, in the right side you can see the task list or a task panel, or call it as task pan. Just click on it. It will consist of multiple tasks which allows us to perform the relevant activities. So that you can call as task list. Here you can have a multiple tasks. Just click on the task list. It will expand and it will display what are the different tasks we have which are related to journals. Okay, we selected journals. Here task list or task panel which we opened related to journals only. So these are the different activities which you can perform against the journal. Okay, So now what we want to do, we want to create the journal. We want to create the journal. To create the journal, click on create journal task. Just click on create journal task. Just click on create journal task. The first time we are connecting to the journal creation page, it could be a reason it is taking time. Okay, so from here we can create the journal. So when I talk about EBS, in EBS we have a functionality called as journal batch and an individual journals creation. Two separate functions we have. When you take the navigation as journal entry, okay, it will open the find journals window in EBS. There you can find two tabs, create new journal or create new batch. But by combining those two functions, they given this page. If you want to create the journal batch, just give the batch name. Within that batch, you can create multiple journals. If you don't want to create the batch, ignore this batch section. You can go ahead with the journal creation. So automatically system will treat each journal as a separate batch. That is applicable in EBS also, right? Even if you create the journal, automatically system will be creating the record as a, that is one of the batch. For each journal, system create as a batch in EBS. Same logic is applicable. But if you want to create the batch, if you want to specify the batch name and other details, the same form you can provide. Okay, you can provide the batch information or you can ignore and you can proceed with the journal creation. So now we have access to only this ledger. Okay, we just, what are the primary ledger we associate with this user related roles, we are able to access that data access set or say ledger here. Okay, the same you could see from here also. So now if you want to provide the batch name, you can provide or else you ignore. The batch name and journal names are not mandatory. If you provide, it will take, the system will take, or else it will create the name automatically. We'll just give the name. So expense batch, and system is defaulting the latest open period, that is March 18. Okay, and here journal batch. Okay, when you talk about journal batch, these are the default fields system is displaying. Okay, if you want to access to additional fields which are related to journal batch, you can click on show more. Just click on show more. So batch related other fields you could see here. Okay, batch related and control totals. Okay, so other information all you can see. Again, is the journal we didn't perform any activity, so that is the reason there is no action log. Now you can click on show less. It will minimize the fields. That. So if you want to just attach any file at batch level, yes, you can. You have a attachments option. You can do it. Now within this batch, you can create the journals. So if you want to create one journal, I'm giving JV1. JV stands for journal voucher. We know that. So JV1 I'm giving, and here you can write the description. Optionally you can write expense. System is defaulting our ledger and today's date is taken deriving, and category. So we can select journal category. So any category you can select, just we are testing, say adjustment. And journal level also we have show more option. Other than these fields, if you want to enter the data or if you want to specify any information in the other fields which are related to journal, you can just click on show more. So here you can see many fields which refers journal definition. So category and all the details and the control totals, sequencing and reversal, something about journal reversal. We'll see like when we are working on GL side. So we'll go through all these concepts. Okay, so this is how just you can click on show more. You can see the fields which are related to journal. So you can click on show less, it will minimize the fields for display. Done. We give in the category. Here you can provide the accounting code combination, debit and credit lines. So here whenever you create the journal, system will be asking us to select the category. If you want to set some default category for the journal, what we can do is we can set through profile option. Okay, now we'll see how to set profile options in Fusion applications, and we'll see that, and we'll, as a part of that, we'll set default profile option, default category for our current user. So that means when ERP tree user is going to create journal, so which category name system has to default in the journal creation process, we'll go and set it up. So if you try to create journal from this user, okay, by default category field is blank. No category system is deriving as a default. If you want to fetch specific category as a default for this user, we have to set the profile option. We'll go and see how to set the profile option, then we'll create the journal and we'll post it and we'll discuss few relevant points. Okay, just cancel journal creation form. Cancel is nothing but here close. Done. Fine. To set up profile option, go to FSM. Okay, click on username, click on setup and maintenance, and you can set up from, you can just do that setup from your implementation project or directly from FSM. You can go to search from here. Any task you can search, even that is not part of our project. If you go to project, within our project, what are the offerings we have, the offerings related tasks only you can search. Okay, and some relevant, some dependency tasks also will be part of our offering, so which are common for any project, any setups. So those you can find within the project. But if you want to search for any task which is available in the entire instance, you can go with the search option. It will take you to FSM homepage. FSM homepage means is a search which is a part of FSM, functional setup manager. From here you can search for any task. If task is available within this instance, you can find it. It is not specific to project. So when you want to set, if you want to set the profile options, that is a very generic task, generic activity which you perform irrespective of project. So you can search from here, or else you can search for the task from your project also. Fine, done. Okay, we'll do from here. How we are navigating to this search page? You have to click on setup and maintenance from user, and we'll be landing in this page. Go to task panel and click on search. To set up the profile options, just click on search. It will take us to search page. From that page we can search for any task.
Not able to hear you.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, there was some network issue. Okay, fine. Just click on search. So we are on the search page. From here you can search for any task. From here you can search for any task. Now we want to set up the profile options. If you want to set any profile option, the task name is administration profile values. Search for administration profile values. So there will be a task called as administration profile values. There will be a task called as manage administration profile values. So profile. So this is a task name, manage administrated profile values. Okay, task name is manage administrator profile values. With this task, we can set up any profile option. Fine. Now, which profile option we want to set? We want to set default journal category. Okay. Default journal category we want to set for this user. So first we have to find that profile option. So here we have a profile option code and a profile display name. So find the profile option name. Profile option name is default category. Search for default category profile option. Default, so journal category. Okay, the profile option name is default journal category. Scroll little down. Here for our user, okay, for our user we want to set this profile option, and there we have to specify specific category name. To set that, you can click on add. Select what level you want to set this profile option, site level or user level. If you set at user level, only this would be applicable for this user. If you set at site level, for all the users, system will be defaulting the same profile, same category name when they create the journals. Okay, we can set at our user level. Select user as a profile level, then select our username. Our username is ERP3. Search, select, say OK. And if this user is going to create the journals, which journal category system should default, that you can select here. So system should default adjustment as a default category for journal creation for this user. So we selected adjustments. Now you can say save and close. So this is how we can set the profile options. To set the profile options, task name is manage administrator profile values. Okay, let's say done. So we don't use profile options to assign primary ledgers, business units, inventory organizations. In EBS case, that is a mandatory. Primary ledger or operating unit or inventory, any other organization definitions, if you want to assign to responsibility, we use only profile option. But here, profile options are not mandatory to perform those activities. If profile options are not mandatory to assign the primary ledger or business units, how we can do that already we have seen. By using the task called as data access for users, we can associate our primary ledger to specific role by using the security contest. Right, that already we completed. So done. So that's how we can set default category for journal creation. Now we'll go and create the journal. To create the journal, go to navigator. Any question?
Yes, Lakshman, I have a couple questions here. One question, you mentioned that when we are creating a journal, and if we don't enter the journal name or the batch name, it would get defaulted automatically. Can you show on what basis it would be defaulted? Like, is it like some number it would be giving, and next time I create another journal, it would be a next number, like in sequential order? How is the defaulting working? And can you explain more in detail?
You know this happens in EBS, right?
Right,
Yeah, same.
right.
Same. I'm not bringing any new point here. Same in EBS, you go and create journal, don't give the name. How it will take journal, since we are creating manual process, first it will take the name as a manual, then it will take the some internal running sequence, and it will take the timestamp on which date at what point of time you are creating the journal. This is a combination system will take manual and some running sequence, internal sequence for the journal creation, and timestamp, okay, with the date and the time. That's how it will take the naming convention.
Okay.
Okay.
Another question I have. we just set up the profile option for the journal category to adjustment. Is there like, can we set it up for manual
Not
journal? Like, is
auto
there
adjustment.
journal category manual?
It is not auto adjustment. We set that profile option to default category. The category name we given as a adjustment. That's it. Okay. There's no
Okay,
point of auto adjustment. It's not for auto.
no manual,
When you create the journal, we require category, right? Instead of
right?
entering the manual category, instead of selecting the category through manual process, we are telling to the system, if this user is going to create journal, select category as a adjustment. So later user wants to override, they can override, otherwise they can proceed with the same if the journal category falls under adjustment.
Okay. Oh, actually, my question is like, is there a category name manual? Like
Category name
category
is not
name
manual.
manual?
We have a source name as a manual. GL source always we represent with the manual. If you want to create category also manual, you can create it. But by default, you don't see as a seeded categories. Within the seeded categories, you don't see anything as a manual. If you want to classify the journals, okay, as a manual category, you can create new category and you can just select as a part of journal creation. Okay, these all are just EBS basics. Okay, so we cannot spend time on that. Fine. So we'll go and see the journal creation. So navigation, just go to navigator and click on journals task. So go to task panel, say create journal. Now you can see system will be defaulting journal category here for this user. It's not happening. So it may take some time. Meantime, what we can do is just we'll sign out and sign in and we'll try. Okay, then system should default the category.
So after profile change, do we have to sign out and sign back in?
No, not required. Sometimes, see, all the changes may not sync immediately, right? Even in EBS also we do sometimes, right? If something is not reflecting, right? So we just sign out and sign in. The same practice I'm doing here. It's not mandatory. It's not mandatory. If you try immediately, normally it should sync immediately. Since it's not happening, to reflect the changes, I'm just doing this activity. That's all. Okay.
Lakshman, how we see the word Wipro on the top? Is that a functional person job to change the name? Like, let's say we want to
That is
change it
just
to
logo.
ERP3.
Logo you can change. I'll show you that. Somebody just practicing in this instance and they change the logo to Wipro. Any logo we can upload. I'll show you that. It's a very simple task. You can do in 1 minute. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. We have a navigation. We have to go there and we have to browse the file logo. That's how you can change the logo. Okay.
Okay,
I'll
thank
take you
you.
through that. I'll take you through that. Fine. So just click on create journal. Now you could see category is defaulting as adjustment. By using the profile option, okay, default journal category, we set the category name as adjustment to default when this user is going to create the journal. That's all. Fine. If you want to provide the journal badge and journal name, you can provide. Otherwise, you can leave it blank. System will create the names. Now, primarily, we have to provide debit and credit accounts. Then click on search. Okay, select company, select department, then select account. I think we don't have many accounts here. Okay, fine. What we'll do is since we are going to start with this testing and all, so within our chart of accounts, we used our value set. So instead of our value set for account, we'll go and use corporate account value set. That value set has access to many accounts. Okay, we'll go and do it so that we can have, okay, just access to many accounts. Now you can go and override that value set at instance level. Okay, if you go and override the value set at chart of account structure level, no use. That won't reflect in the instance. Okay, you have to change in the instance level. Chart of account structure instance level, you have to change it. So in the current value set, we have returned earnings account. That account only we selected in the ledger options. Since we are going to change the value set at instance level, I have to make sure that the same update we will do in the ledger level in the ledger options. That means the returned earnings account we have to select from corporate account value set. Just go to implementation project, you will see that. Just click on overview. Go to chart of account structure instance. Go to our project, search for chart of accounts instance or chart of account structure. You can just go to chart of account. It should be chart structure instance. Any task will help us to go to that instance definition. You can use this task or this task, any task. Manage chart of account structures. Click on go to task icon, and where we have chart of account structure and instance in accounting, key flex field. Find accounting flex field and go to manage structure instances. What is the instance name we given? Google, and click on edit. Click on edit. Which value sets we are using for account segment? Google account. Within this Google account value set, we have only one account. So instead of using Google account value set, we'll just use corporate account value set, which is a predefined value set in the Vision instance in Fusion. Okay, so we'll just select that value set for our account segment, so that within the value set, what are the accounts we have, all we can use in the setup process as well as transaction testing process. Select account segment, click on edit, and here you can override the value set. Change value set to corporate account. Why we are changing to corporate account? In the corporate account value set, we have many accounts. Instead of creating all those accounts in this Google account value set, we can use it. Just click on search. Say okay. So done. Any question on this point, please? Just we are overriding the value set for our account. Any question related to this from anyone, please?
Lakshman, usually in implementation, it's not recommended, right, to change the value set.
We never do that because I given the reason. So within our value set, we don't have many accounts, right? So within this, we have all the accounts. That is the reason we are selecting. When you are working in the real project, you never see corporate account value set. You have to create your own value sets. Those only you can use. There won't be any predefined, right? So this practice is all applicable in the real projects.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thanks for the clarification.
Yeah. Fine. Any question here from anyone, please? Fine. So done. Now you can say save and close. And one more point, what we'll do is we'll set default values for company, department. So when you create the journal or any transaction, we have to select the company, department, and account. Instead of selecting company, department all the time, we'll set default values for company, department. So whenever you try to create the code combination, system will take the given company and department to transaction creation time. Okay, so we'll set default value for company. Select company, click on edit. So for company, just you can select value as default type as constant. You can provide the constant value as 1,000. So here you cannot get the values from LOV. The same applicable in EBS. In EBS also, if you want to set default value, you cannot get the values which are available within this value set. Only the point is you have to enter the exact value which is existing within this value set. Yes, we have company called as 1,000, so I'm selecting. Whenever you record the transactions by using the chart of account related primary ledger, system has to take company as 1,000. If you want to override, you can override. So we can avoid the activity of selecting the company from LOV. We can simplify. So we'll set the default value for department also. Select department segment, click on edit, select default type as constant, and here department also we can set to 1,000. Yes, we have a department with a number called as 1,000. Then say okay. So for account we just change the value set also. For account we no need to set default. Reason, all the time we'll keep changing the accounts. Okay, the company can be constant. If required, department also can be, you can set as constant. Depending on transaction you can change it. Okay, hope these points are clear to everyone. So now you can click on save and close. Again click on done. So what level we are doing all these changes? At instance level, not at structure level. Notice this point. If you go and change the value set at structure level, no use. You should change at instance level only. Okay, whenever you do the changes to our chart of account structure or instance, we have to submit for deployment. Okay, the deployment status you can see as edited. Okay, just you have to make sure that deployment status is deployed or completed. Just click on deploy flex field. So within this accounting key flex field, system will validate and it will submit all the chart of account structures and instances for to compile. So any questions meantime from anyone, please? It may take minute time to complete this deployment process. Meantime, any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, can we try to import this corporate account and export into our
Sorry,
chart of account
your
structure?
voice is not clear.
Lakshman, can we import and export these corporate accounts to our chart of account structure?
Import and export, yes, we can do that. That process we'll be discussing, that we call as rapid implementation. I'll take you through that process. So how to bring all the information into the application. We can keep all that accounts into spreadsheet. What you could do is this information you can you can export that information, you can copy and you can paste into rapid implementation spreadsheet. Through that spreadsheet you can load the data into application. You can do that, but not directly into our structure. Just you can load into the application that you can select into your instance. That is possible. See, once you see the rapid implementation process, that you can understand. We have that rapid implementation process as a part of our course curriculum. The first we should understand how these things can be done through manual process. So that is the reason we are doing. So after completing that, once we are in middle of payables, I'll take you through that process, how you can load all this information automatically. Okay, that is possible that you can do.
Okay.
Yep, fine. So our accounting flex field is deployed. Status you can see as deployed. Then click on done. So earlier we used different value set. Within that value set, account value set. Within that account value set, we created one account called as returned earnings account. That account we selected in the ledger options. Now that account, that value set totally we removed from our instance. That means that account you cannot have within our chart of accounts. So the account whatever you selected in the ledger options, we have to remove and we have to select the account which is available within our chart of accounts, again which is from corporate account value set. Okay, now what are the returned earnings account we have in the ledger options? That is invalid account. Reason, the value set itself we removed. So now we have to select the returned earnings account from our corporate account value set. Now we'll go to specify ledger options. Okay, in specify ledger options we'll go and override the returned earnings account. So go to task called as specify ledger options. Just click on specify ledger options task. Click on go to task icon. See here already our ledger is selected in the scope. Then it will take us to only our ledger related ledger options. Yes, this is our ledger. Here we have an account called as 1111. This account, returned earnings account, we selected from the previous value set which we used in our instance. Now we totally change it, right? Just click on search. So it is not finding the meaning for this. So 1111, it is not showing anything. Reason, this value is not available in the current value set. So click on LOV. Now you can see all the accounts. From where we are getting all these accounts? From corporate account value set. The corporate account value set only we assign to account segment, the chart of account structure instance, right? So here now we are able to see many accounts. All these accounts are flowing from corporate account. Now here select returned earnings account into this field. Search for returned earnings. So return as per corporate account value set, returned earnings account number is 33100. Select and say OK. So if you change the value set, this is what we have to correct. So since we didn't record any transaction, there won't be any issue. Okay, that's what the system is giving the same message. You should not change. Yes, we know that, but since we didn't create any transactions, we are changing it. Once you create the transactions, you should not do it. Say save and close. Done.
Lakshman, one question here. This value set account segment is having 5 character length, right? So when we defined our value set, I think we given 4, right?
Correct. You are right.
So in that case, how that works? Automatically, system setup
Try
it
to
will be changed to 5.
Now 1 second. Try to understand the point. You only given the point in our value set. We given 4 in this value set. 5 we have, right?
Okay. Value set itself we changed. Okay, got it.
That is the point, right?
Right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
So what we are using, that only will reflect. There we given 4 only will come if you use that. Since we are using this within this 5 given, so 5 number is coming. That's all. Yep.
Right. It won't impact any other definition.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
There is no dependency. It's a standalone definition, right? Within that we are giving the same.
Right.
Yep. You're right.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Fine. Now we'll go and create the journal. So to create the journal, you can go to Navigator. And see here, this is a one point, like just you can go to Navigator. Within the Navigator, you can find the accounting section, general accounting section. Here, when you see general accounting, it's nothing but general ledger. Okay, so general accounting. So this is just information. These are the different tasks. So when even Oracle started with Oracle application development, as we know, like Oracle basically database company. After that, they started application development. The first application which Oracle developed is the application name is General Accounting only. Now the name they turned into General Ledger later stages. The very initial one application Oracle developed is General Accounting. Okay, which had very limited functions, and which works as a general ledger application. Okay, so so this is a place from where you can navigate to journal creation page. If not, from here directly you can click on home icon. It will take us to home page. So here, what are the icons? What are the space you can see? This you can call as springboard. We can call it as a springboard. Within this springboard, what are the icons you see? These all we call as springboard icons. So this user has access to general ledger because we assign the roles related to general ledger. You can see one springboard icon for general accounting also. You can just click on this icon. It will open what are the tasks we have within the general accounting icon. Okay, the three tasks we have. You can navigate from here also. You can click on journals. It will take us to journals work area. Now we landed in the journal creation page, just journals work area. From navigator you can just navigate to this page, or else from springboard icon, by using the springboard icons also you can navigate to this page. Okay, let's see how to create the journal. Just click on create journal. So journal batch name, journal names are not mandatory. If you want to provide, you can provide. So now we'll go and enter debit and credit line. System is defaulting category name because of profile option. Now if you click on search, in the pop-up, system should default company and department. It may take some time. Okay, it may take some time. We submitted. So let me sign out and sign in. Some synchronization should happen. Sometimes certain changes, certain updates may take time to reflect in the process. Okay. Go to Springboard and just select Journal Accounting and click on Journals. Click on the task list, say Create Journal. Click on Search. Now it's defaulting. But we no need to think, just we have to sign out and sign in. But just to reflect the changes, if it is not happening immediately, you may do it. Okay, the company and department we set as a default values 1000 and 1000. In the instance level, the same system is reflecting. Now all the time you don't need to enter company and department. If you have a requirement of entering the journals or different company or different department, you may change. Since here we are testing for the data entry convenience, just we are setting default values. Okay, now we can select account. Okay, we'll select any one of the expense account. So here you can type expense and click on search. Here when you click on expense and when you search, system is displaying only two accounts. The two accounts description is starting with expense, right? So here what happens is, when you search for any account, by default the criteria is starts with. You can click on advanced option. It will show by following which search criteria these results are coming. So here you enter expense and you clicked on search. It is displaying only two values. Here what is the description criteria? Starts with. That means if any account name starts with expense, those only it has to display. Here we have a lot of criteria. Okay, you can search with equals. Okay, depending on the page where you are searching for the information, so these defaults will vary. Okay, you can select and you can search accordingly. You can say equals. If you search, if there is any account name exactly with this expense, then only it will display. There may not be any account description with just expense. So you may select criteria as a contains. So how many accounts we have which contains this term called as expense, all accounts will get displayed. Now you can get many accounts. So these all accounts has the term called as expense within the name. So here there is a lot of criteria when you are searching. Okay, if you want to see all the accounts, you can select it. Not only accounts, any value if you want to see all. So instead of going with any criteria, if you want to see all, you can select is not blank. That means description is not blank, those it has to show. Click on search, it will display all the accounts. Okay, these are applicable in any search window. Okay, so going forward, when you are searching for any information, okay, so there may be criteria, okay, which is set as default, like equals, and click on basic, we'll go to the basic. So here we are searching with expense, it may not display anything. The reason could be the criteria is set to, okay, here by default they set the criteria as a start with, the criteria may be equals. When it is set as a equals, if you search for expense, exactly if there is some description for account expense, then only it will display, otherwise no. So if you have this kind of case, like when you are searching, just you can verify. So if you are typing something, on what base the results are going to be fetched, you can click on advanced, there it will show how it is selected. You may change and you can search. Okay, so just notice these points. So you can go with advanced option and you can search, or else whatever you are searching, if you are able to get based on the basic search, that would be enough. Fine. Now you can search with a start with as a criteria, or else you can go with the contains. So just I'm selecting search description as a contains expense. Click on search, you can find many expense accounts. These are all expense accounts. So you can select any one of the expense account. I am selecting, okay, interest expense. This is okay. We'll just go with some other expense. Say some software expense. Select this account and say okay. Okay, and one more point here. We'll talk about it. Okay, so go with advanced. So depending on what we are searching, this add field option also applicable. Okay, add field option also applicable. Here just we have value and description. When you are searching for some other information, so here you can add some additional fields depending on applicability. Okay, that we'll see, we'll be touching that. So for now, just we selected an account called as software expense account. Say okay. So we'll make this account as expense debit account. Say $10,000. Now we'll go and create the credit line. Just place the cursor in the next row. The field will open. Click on search field, search icon. System is defaulting company and departments. Since we set defaults at instance level for specific value sets, go to account. We may select cash account or liability account. Say cash account. You can write as a credit. This we enter debit, enter credit, $10,000. If you want to write the description, you can write the description for this. Okay, so this is how just we can provide this information. So there is nothing much to understand here, but just anyway, since this is a new form and all, just if you have any questions here, please. Okay, fine. So now we created journal, we entered journals information. Okay, so we didn't provide any batch name and journal name. If you want to provide, you can provide, otherwise automatically system will take it. Okay, so against the batch or against the journal, there are different actions which you can perform. Once you save it, this will get enabled. You can delete this journal, or else you can reverse this journal, and you can add one more journal if you want to add into this batch. Same way here also, different actions you can perform against this journal. Okay, depending on applicability. Any question?
Okay, but the currency is defaulting as USD and conversion type, rate type is defaulting as user.
Yes.
Do we want to
See, the currency is defaulting from ledger. Okay, and
Right.
when currency is defaulting from the ledger, by default system will take the rate type as user only. They made it as rate type mandatory. That is the reason they set default as it has to take user. If it is we are dealing with other currency, so based on the date conversion for the date which rate type is available, automatically that would get defaulted. Here user means it's a same. See, conversion rate is one. One is one. That's it. There is no conversion. So it's ledger currency and transaction currency same. That's how they set default.
But how is it coming as user again?
Sorry,
Rate type? How is the rate type coming as user again?
they just programmed like that. There is no option to go and set when you create the journal with the functional currency. It has which rate type should come. Okay, you can create your own user defined rate also. That is a different point. But here user means the same ledger currency representation only they'll be showing as a user. That's all.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to understand like where they would mention that for this ledger, the rate type should be user. Like,
No,
is
no, no.
there a
For any ledger, you create ledger with INR, you create ledger with USD, you create ledger with AED. For any ledger you use, by default system will take rate type as a user only.
okay? And if we need to change it to let's say spot or corporate or something like that?
If you want to change the spot, first you have to change the currency. Then only you can go with the spot or corporate or something else, right? Since it's a functional currency, it is coming as a user. Got the point, right?
Okay, so for functional currency, it's always user. And if we want to change it, we cannot do that. We cannot
Yes, yes.
change it.
For functional currency, it's a user. Reality, it's not required also. Since it's a functional currency, rate types and all not required. Somehow, some
Right,
programming
correct.
logic, they made it as a mandatory and they are displaying. That's all. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Fine. Just save this journal. Just click on save. So in EBS, say you created journal and you saved. Okay. So can you post the journal? Yes, we can post. But here, after saving the journal, you have to complete the journal. After completing, you can post it. And again, see here, it's a by default, this window represents batch, journal batch. See, system created batch name, manual, some internal running number, and date and time. The same applicable for journal also. This is how system will create the batch name and journal name automatically. The same journal. Within the same batch, if you want to create one more journal, you can click on add. You can create one more journal within this. So now we created one journal. And if you want to complete this, you can click on complete. Okay, that means this journal complete batch creation is completed. That is a meaning. So as a part of journal process, first we have to save the journal and we have to complete the journal batch creation. There may be one journal, but still will system will create as a batch. You have to complete. After completing, you can submit the journal for posting. Click on post. Just say okay. Now system will be running the job.
What is the purpose of completing? I'm sorry.
So if journal is, I mean, that batch is completed, then you can just post it. See, the point here is, so it indicates there is no pending work within that batch. You completed how many journals you plan to enter. That is the meaning of complete over there.
So does that mean it won't allow you to add more after the fact you hit the complete? Because there's also save option. Then complete option, if you complete, it won't allow you.
Yeah. See, save, it will save. After saving here, create icon will be enabled. Once you click on complete, this section will be freezed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, then you can just, that means you are freezing the batch definition. You are finalizing the batch definition, then you can submit for post. Okay, that's the meaning of that. You can go to schedule process. The system will be running the post journal for single ledger. It's just running this job. Yeah, any questions?
Yes, after you complete the journal, can we go back and make it incomplete if the journal is not posted?
So incomplete, you cannot do that. Just it's once you complete that option itself, you don't see over there. It will be just hiding the tab. Okay.
Lakshman,
Yeah.
there is one auto reversal journal in that.
Your voice is very low.
Yeah, auto reversal.
Low, not audible.
There is one auto reversal general process, right?
Correct.
In this, that is added out.
See,
what is that?
See, somebody scheduled it. You know auto reversal concept, right?
Okay. Yes. But we had selected, I think we had selected auto reversal in specify ledger option as well.
No. See, we didn't do any setup so far. We didn't do any setup so far. Okay. We didn't set anything.
Okay.
The ledger option only we given the language specification and return earnings account. Rest we didn't specify. Some other user they set auto reversal program as they scheduled it by specifying every 1 minute it should run, every 2 minutes it should run. That is the reason system is keep triggering this job. Okay. We'll be working on all this auto reversal, auto post. Okay. So as a part of yeah. Now the target is just journal creation. Fine. You could see here this post journals to single ledger. This job system is running. May take some time to complete it. See here, system is running another job called as, when you submit for posting, this is a posting related job. System is running another job called as publish chart of accounts dimension members detail values only. That means this journal information system is transferring to SBase database to move the data from our Oracle database. In Oracle database we created one journal. That journal related information, it is moving to SBase database for reporting purpose. That is the reason it's running another additional job. Fine. Anyway, we can see our this job name, job status has succeeded. Now we can go and find the journal. Go to navigator. Under general accounting, click on journals task. Okay, click on journals task. Click on task list and just click on manage journals. Just click on manage journals task. Here we have a search criteria to find the journal. So you can give the search criteria. Anyway, we are within our ledger only, right? Our ledger only selected. Now accounting period you can give as a March. Okay, March 2018 you can give the accounting period. Then you can click on search. Within this accounting period, if any journal is available, it will show. So this is journal name, this is a batch name, period, source is manual, category is adjustment, and debit and credit, and batch status is posted. If you want to see that journal, just click on journal name. So here most of the things are like simply drill down options. Just if you click on the journal name, it will open. But in case of EBS, if you want to open the journal from the summary window, you have to select the record, you have to click on review journal, right? So since these are the ADF pages, so simply you can click on the name, it will just connect to the record.
Lakshman,
Yeah.
I see on the top it says data access set, in our primary ledger. So if our data access set has more than one ledger, then we can change it, right? Depending on which journal we want to search.
Yes, yes.
On the top.
Yeah, yeah. Here you will get an option. In the ledger field, you will be able to change it. So if you have a ledger set, okay, your data access set may have a multiple ledgers. In that case, you'll have your ledger set data access set name only here. Within the data access set, if you have multiple ledgers, for journal creation, you can change the ledger name here. Instead of data access set, you may have ledger set also here, right? The ledger set name will be here. Within that ledger set, how many ledgers you have, you can switch from one ledger to another ledger from here. Okay. As a part of journal record, you can change. This is a place where you can change from one to another ledgers, which are part of your data access set, which consists of multiple ledgers, or your data access set may be ledger set. Even if you create ledger set, against the ledger set also system will create the data access set. So you may have access to your ledger set. Within the ledger set, you have 10 ledgers. So you want to create journal for which ledger, that you can select as a part of journal form. Here in this field, you can select. Okay, that is a point. So
within one batch we can have just one clarification. So within one batch we can have journals for multiple ledger or just one ledger.
Within one batch, yes, within one batch you can have a separate different ledgers for each journal. So see here, this is a batch. I'll create one journal. After that, I'll click on new. It will just refresh this part. This part will remain same. Here I'll change the ledger name and I'll create one more journal. That's it. You can have a journals multiple journals within the batch with the different ledgers. If you have access to different ledgers through this data access set or ledger set. Fine. So just this is how just we created ledger. Oh, sorry, we created journal, and this is how you can see all the information. If any action you want to perform on the batch or journal, you can just do from here. Okay, you can copy this batch and you can create one more batch. You can reverse this batch. If you want to print it, you can print. If you want to perform specific activity on this journal, you can go to journal actions. You can reverse this journal, or if you want to view the T accounts, okay, that you can see.
Your voice is not clear. I don't know if it's just me.
I don't think so. I have issue from my side.
No, it's not clear for me.
Not clear?
Now I just couldn't hear you at all.
Okay, great. Fine. So this is how you can view the T accounts and the PTD, QTD, YTD related, the respective to that accounts which you have within this. Okay. So this is how we can create the journal. Now we are not targeting the GL journal process and all, just to make sure that through our ledger we are able to create journal successfully. We are testing this. Okay, you can click on this refresh balances. Before that, you have to select a specific line. So the first line got selected. You can click on refresh. Here itself you can see the balances with this code combination in PTD means the current period. Here journal is created in which period, March month, how much balances we have, you can see. For the same account here, this for the same accounting code combination, if you want to know the total balances in QTD in the entire quarter also, you can see. You can select QTD here and you can click on refresh. It will give the information. But in current scenario, we created only one journal with this category. So QTD or PTD or YTD all remain same, the balances, because only one journal we have with this code combination. So this is how here itself you can analyze. You can just get to know the balances for specific account code combination. So this is all about expense account. If you want to verify this cash account, for this cash account within this period, okay, with this code combination, how much balances we have, if you want to know. You can just click on refresh. This is a cash account code combination, same 10,000. In particular period also same, because overall we entered only one journal. Click on refresh. YTD also same. If you have multiple journals with the same code combination, based on this selection you can see the differences. In specific period how much balances, in quarter how much, in specific year how much, everything you can get to know. So this is just a simple transaction for our understanding. And one more point here, when you search for the journals, we are on the same page. Just I closed it. So manage journals. If you are searching for any records, not only here, in any application or any process, by default they are giving these fields as a default fields. If you want to search for journal with other criteria, here you can add the fields. Here we have option called as add fields. So here by default we have a 6 fields. So you want to search for journal, but you don't want to use any one of these field for search criteria. If you want to add some additional fields here, you can do it. Just click on add fields. So these are the fields you have. You may search for the journal with accounting date. You want to search for the journal with accounting date, and other than these fields we have few more. You can click on down arrow, it will display. So created by, you can search completion status, category, batch status, description, balance type, approval status, approval date, the sequential numbering, date, period, etc. This is how you can search. So this is all about just simple journal creation. Anyway, now we are not going to work on GL. So when we focus on GL, just we'll go through all the concepts and we can go one by one. So we are ready with the primer ledger, and we verified our primer ledger is working fine. Just for testing, we passed one journal and we posted. Done. So that's all about journal creation. So now we'll go one by one as a part of enterprise structure. Okay, we discussed, as a part of enterprise structure, in the top level we can have enterprise. Okay, so we can have enterprise. How many enterprises we can have? We already discussed. We can have only one enterprise for one instance. Okay, only one enterprise for one instance, which will represent the organization name and default HR and payroll related configuration options. Okay, at enterprise level, what information we can give? We can provide the group company name, and we can set HR and payroll related defaults. As a part of finance, when you are working on finance, we don't need to do anything with enterprise. Okay, we don't need to do anything with enterprise, just to understand the information about it. So we can have, instead of saying we can have only one enterprise, we can have only one enterprise for one instance. In one instance we can have only one enterprise. In Fusion to cloud, instead of calling it as an instance, we call as a pod. Okay, we call it as a pod. That's the term Oracle use. So instance is nothing but pod in cloud. So for one pod we can have only one enterprise. Can we create that enterprise? No. When you get fresh instance, in fresh instance also you can see default enterprise. Okay, if you remember in EBS, there will be default business group. When you look at the name, you could see as a setup business group. The naming convention they will provide as a setup business group. You can change the name and you can complete the remaining configuration, business group info and other details, or else you can ignore that business group what Oracle provides as default, and we can create our own business group. But in the Fusion, you can create only one enterprise. That enterprise definition by default Oracle provides. As per your HR and payroll process, you can go on to change the defaults and controls within the enterprise level, and you can overwrite the enterprise name to your client name. Okay, by default there will be enterprise called as default enterprise. So the naming convention you can change to your client name, maybe XYZ group of companies. That's how you can change the name. How you are going to manage your HR and payroll process, based on that, what are the preferences defaults required, all you can set at enterprise level. Okay, just we'll go to that page where you can find the enterprise, what are the information is part of enterprise. Okay, we'll see that. Before that, the point is only one enterprise you can have for one instance only we call as a pod in case of cloud. Okay, and there is no option of creating. Oracle provides default one. Within the default one only you can change the parameters how you require, how you are going to run your HR and payroll. That's all. Okay, enterprise is very specific to HR and payroll. That is a part of enterprise structure. Since that is a part of enterprise structure, which will be in the high level, top level, we are talking about it. Now we'll go and see the enterprise structure. Enterprise. Okay, you can search from your project, or you can go to search page. From search page you can search for the enterprise. Search for enterprise HCM information. There will be task called as manage enterprise HCM information. With this task you can navigate to enterprise definition. See here, the task name itself they given enterprise HCM information. Okay, human capital management, all your different modules, payroll, okay, core HR, payroll, options, talent, all this. What are the product family? What are the products we have as a part of HCM? So for all those relevant information you can maintain as a part of enterprise. So that would get defaulting for each and every country when HCM consultants will design the solution. Country specific configuration they do. By default, system will take the information from here to there. It will default. Depending on the country, they will be overriding for that specific country how they require that just controls or defaults. Okay, just click on search. We have a task called as enterprise HCM information. The task name manage enterprise HCM information. Just click on the task. Okay, it will take us to default enterprise which we have in this instance. Okay, so since this is a vision instance, they named it as a vision corporation. So this is the enterprise description. So effective start date, name and status, and here you could see the information related to HRM, HCM. So work start time, work end time, standard working hours, weekly 40 hours, and all related to HCM only. Worker number generation, automatic generation using the global sequence, employment model, 3 tier or 2 tier or which tier they want to use, and allow employee terms override at assignment level. So employee assignment level, the terms if you want to change you can use it. All salary levels and people group flex field structure. We have a key flex field called as group flex field, right? People group flex field in EBS also the same. The structure you have to select here, and global person name, language, US, and the different other options, all which will all represents HCM related defaults information only. Okay. So here position synchronization, when they create the position, how that information need to be synchronized. It's a complete HCM related information. Okay, now if you want to edit this information, this is how by default you'll get the name as default enterprise. Name would be default enterprise, and when you start working for your client, you can change the organization name to your client name. The rest of information, if any changes required, that would be done by HCM consultant. So now you can see this definition is freezed. If you want to do any modifications, go to edit. Okay, click on update or correct. So as a part of EBS HRMS also we have date tracking, date effective tracking functionality. The same we have in the Fusion also. Based on which date you are doing some changes, there will be some tracking functionality in HCM. So that is the reason they given this too. Now anyway, just you can select any one of this option. In our case, we don't need to consider that. You may just click on update. So you can specify and which date you are updating, why you are updating. This is a functionality, okay, which we have in this HCM. Okay, so the action reason only we have one value, reorganization, and you can create many values here by using the lookups. So we don't want to give any reason, say okay. Now this entire record will turn into edit mode.
So Lakshman, this setup of enterprise is done by HCM consultant and not by nothing is required from the financial consultant. Is that correct?
Nothing is required. If you want to change, you may change the name to your client name. That's all. There's no information which is related to finance. So that is the reason we no need to do it. So here we may change to Google Corporation. That's it. You can go through other information, all this. It's all related to HR and payroll, primarily HR and payroll related definitions. Fine, we no need to do anything. Okay, just as a point, we are trying to understand this. That's all. Okay, so you can click on submit. Just we change the name. That's all. Okay, this is all about enterprise definition. It's a default one you can see in any instance. Only you can have one. There is no option of creating. Okay, done. So that's all about enterprise. So divisions are optional. If you want to have a segment as a part of your chart of accounts, then you can create division. Otherwise, you cannot take any advantage out of division when you are working on financials. Okay. Now what we'll do is, okay, I'll show you how to create division also just for understanding. It's a very simple task. Okay, now just we'll go and create location. Okay, before we go and create the business unit, we'll create the location for business unit. So create location for business unit. After creating the location for business unit, we'll create business unit. Create business unit. The EBS operating unit here we are calling as business unit, nothing but BU. Okay, first we'll see the location creation. To create the location, you can click on the task list. You can go to the search page, or you can create from your project also. So which tasks are not mandatory to create from the project, those I am creating from search page, or you can, or else you can go and create from project itself. Go to our implementation project and click on overview. So this page you can take into, just you can select into favorites. So all the time you don't need to go with all this navigation, clicking on user, clicking on setup and maintenance. So clicking on task list and selecting manage implementation project, clicking on overview and navigating to this page. Instead of doing these many steps process, so simply this page you can select into favorites. Here we have a favorites and recent items. Just tag this into favorites. So add to favorites. My project. Okay, you can create different folders and you can move these favorites into that. We'll do bookmarking, right? Sites and all the same. It would reflect like just. So my project, anytime you click on my project, you'll be landing in this page. Just go to home. You can go to favorites, click on my project. I think they set limit for this function not to go to specific project. They're just set to only up to this level of defaulting. Fine. Now normally that is applicable for any page directly to navigate. In case of this page they set a limitation. Fine, no issues. Here just search for location. You can search for the task called as manage location, or simply you can search with the term called as locations. Click on manage locations. So the same task is available from financials as well as procurement. Against financials, you can click on the task called as manage locations. You can click on go to task icon. So already we discussed how to enable help, right? You can click on help. Wherever help is applicable, it will enable, and if you are not aware of that information, you may go through it. So the same is applicable everywhere, but again that would be applicable for that is session based. Once you sign out, the whatever the help you are enabling, that will get disabled. Okay, so here we can create the location for business unit, or location for inventory. For any purpose you can create, but earlier we created one location for legal entity. For legal entity, that page is totally different. So legal entity, whatever the address we created, legal address, that page is totally different from this manage locations page. Okay, here just click on create. Just click on create. Okay, click on create. Here we have to provide the location name, location code, if required, description, and detail address. So apart from this, just notice this, we have one field called as location set. What location set system is taking? Common set. Just notice, we'll be discussing bit later. We have a separate concept called as reference data set. Okay, reference data set, RDS. So that reference data set, only based on the form and based on the information, they'll be giving the different with the different names. So for now, just notice at the time of location creation, we have one field called as location set. For the location set, the selected by default value is common set. Just notice this point, and we will discuss about it once we get into the core configuration. I'll take with the example also. For now, just notice. So what is this means? The name they given as location set, this is the value, but reality this is a reference data set. Okay, wherever you see the term called as set, that is nothing but reference data set only. What is the purpose? How to define our own? How that can be useful in the process of definition, system setups? All will be discussing once we get into payables configuration. For now it is not required, but since the field is available as a part of location definition, just notice and remember. You don't need to do anything with that. Just notice, in the location creation page we have a field called as location set. For that value selected is the value which is selected as common set. Remember it, that's all. We'll work on it. So name we can give as a Google US BU location, or else you can take specific location, California, Dallas, etc. Okay, just I am writing just for testing convenience. I am writing like this. Okay, Google US BU location, business unit location. You can provide the code. I just provide the code, and here you can specify the detail address. I'll give the name as Google US BU address. Okay, and select zip code. System will default city, state, and county, because we gone through the process of managing geographies data. From there, system will fetch this information. So there, just Nokia data is already activated, and find values from LOV also enabled. Even like tax validation also enabled. Now anyway, we are not dealing with the tax. So when we work on fusion tax, nothing but EBT as per EBS, we'll talk about that point. Now all the locations which you see are going to fetch from that manage geographies function only. So I'm just selecting one postal code, then system will default all this information. All information is coming from manage geographies only. So this is how you can just provide the address. We given the address name as location name as Google USBU location. Then you may just click on save, and you can click on preview, or else directly you can submit. System will run the request. Here request we are calling as job. System will run the job, okay, to update this location information in the process. Just click on done. We created location. Now we'll go and create the business unit. It's a very simple definition. We'll complete the business unit. We'll stop for today, and tomorrow session we can continue from here. Okay, we'll see how to create the business unit. It's very simple definition. Search for business unit, or the actual full name is manage business unit. Search for manage business unit. You don't need to search with the full task name, just you can search the term called as business unit also. Click on search. So here is the task called as manage business unit. Okay, so it's against financials, so just click on that. So task name is manage business unit. Just click on that, and here we have a go to task icon. Just against the manage business unit, click on this icon. So you could see there are many business units already created in this environment. These all are business units. Okay, we'll create our own business group, business unit. Just click on create. So provide business unit name. So our BU name is say Google US business unit, and you can select manager who is heading that operations of the business which you are treating as business unit. You can select that person name. Okay, since this is a vision instance, there are many people's employee definitions are available. You can select any person, but going forward anyway we'll see how to create the employee also. So from that definition you can select the person here. It's not mandatory, just for information purpose you may select who is a manager for this business unit. So here location here also is not mandatory. How can you say here the star mark here for name and default set only? These two fields are mandatory. Location and manager fields are optional. So if you don't select manager, there won't be an issue, but if you don't select location, there will be scenarios where system will verify the business unit associated with the specific location or not. If the business unit is not associated with the location, there are certain concepts which will end with error. You cannot do it since the business unit is generally physical location. So the physical locations will be representing as a business units in the system. You should select where the business unit is located. We create a location field, you could see as optional, but select with location as a mandatory. That's very important. There are few concepts which doesn't work without BU location. So you can search and select whatever the location we created. Google US business unit, US BU location, Google US BU location, select it, and default set. At the time of location, we have seen as a location set, and at the time of business unit creation, we are finding the field as a default set. Here also we have set. Wherever you see the field name called as set, that is nothing but reference data set only. So what name we have seen in the location creation time, what value got selected here? Anyone please? Common set. The same just select here. Okay, same you can select here. So BU creation time, we are going to select the set as a common set. Select common. The display name is common set. The actual code is common. Select and say okay. We'll discuss about it as a part of payable setups. We'll discuss and we'll be testing also. We'll create our own different reference data set. Then you can understand. For now, just notice at the time of location creation, location set by default system is taking as a common set. But at the time of business unit, okay, we have field called as default set. For the default set field, we are selecting common, nothing but common set only. Just notice this point. Wait for some time. We will understand this. Okay, we can start discussing here itself, but it just drive into a little bit confusion for few guys. Okay, this is not right time. Just when you are doing the setups there itself, you can see results also. So that is the reason this discussion we are parking for some time. Okay, we'll discuss it. So just notice, okay, this is the process to create the business unit. We are giving the name, we are selecting location, and default set we are giving as a common set. Then say save and close. If you want to create one more business unit, click on the drop down option. It is not opening. Basically it should open. Here there will be value called as save and create another. You can create one more. Okay, just click on save and close. We created our business unit. Okay, done. So we just done with these setups. We created journal and posted, and we discussed how to set the profile option. We tested by setting the profile option for default category, and we just gone through the information, which is a predefined definition in the system. So let enterprise related definition, and we created location for business unit, and we created business unit. Okay, in the tomorrow session, just we can start with the payables related configuration. So first we'll be working on the payables, then P2P cycle, then receivables, O2C cycle, cash management, purchase, fixed assets, then GL, then we'll go through fusion expense and fusion tax. Okay, this is a sequence we are going to follow. So this is what we done in this session. Any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, from a configuration point of view for GL, we completed everything, is it?
No. Just configuration point of view, we completed just primary ledger and the relevant definitions, legal entity and all. That is a common configuration. If you want to implement any application, say your client is not going to use Oracle Financials, your client is going to implement only SCM. From finance side, which setup you have to complete? Primary ledger. Okay, you are going to implement, say, HRMS, SCM, and say projects, for example. In that case also, the primary ledger definition is required. That means it's a common definition, common configuration need to be completed to implement any application. That is the reason we completed primary ledger definition. That is a very basic definition which need to be done from GL. So just we created primary ledger only. We'll be working on GL later stages.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, that's all. Fine. Any questions from anyone from today's session or from previous sessions? If you are working on the instance, if you have any issues or any confusion or any clarification required, please let me know. We'll discuss. Any questions from anyone?
Lakshman. Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, as you said, like for the enterprise, we can have only one instance or one pod in Fusion. So in EBS,
one second. I didn't say like for one enterprise you can have one instance or one pod. Within one instance or say pod, you can have one enterprise. Within not for enterprise. If client is taking one instance, within that we'll have only one enterprise. Say that client is operating the business in 100 countries. So their group company name they'll give as enterprise. For all the countries, they can have a design the solution from HCM side and finance side in all the aspects. Okay, that is a point.
Usually, Lakshman, client take only.
Sorry?
Usually, client only.
Your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking. Any questions from others, please? And when
Can
yeah.
you share the videos or?
Yeah, I shared yesterday video also. This session video I'll be sharing maybe within 1 hour.
Okay,
And I'll
maybe
be using the sheet
I'll
also.
share it.
Okay, the earlier what are the classes we completed, so that I just placed in the Google Drive. This sheet also I'll be placing today along with the video. That previous
Yeah, I haven't got it.
I'll remove it. I'll be removing all the time. I'll make sure that updated sheet will be available in the Google Drive. Okay, you can download from your end. You can download this sheet and you can download the videos also.
Okay.
Yeah. Just don't depend on Google Drive all the time. So whenever you see the video, you please download into your machine. So sometimes people by mistake they used to download the videos. In that case, will be just you have to wait till the time we identify or you inform us and we'll upload into that. So whenever you see the video in the Google Drive, you can download into your machine. We are giving the full privileges, not only just watching the videos. You can download into your machine. You can keep with you permanently.
Okay.
Okay, done.
So,
Questions, please.
usually, a company would have one instance, one pod, or would they have more than one? Like,
That they take.
or do they have to pay more
That is
to
the.
get more instance?
So for 100 countries, they can use one instance. Instance will support. Okay, or else they may have a like the landscape. They can decide how the landscape should work. Landscape in the sense instance landscape. Maybe for that these 10 countries will have a separate instance. For these 10 countries will have a different instance. The reason these 10 countries, between these countries only there will be some data consolidation required, some other transactions may take place for these 10 countries altogether standalone business they are doing based on their business strategy, and they will decide the landscape of the instance, how many instances they want to use for how many countries. Okay, most of the clients go with one instance. Still, you can see few clients they will choose different instances for specific geography of business countries.
So in that case, they have to pay more money, right? They have to pay extra. Like it's like buying another Oracle software if they're
Definitely,
buying two
definitely.
instances.
They have to take if they are going to use two instances, they have to take two subscriptions. Okay.
Lakshman, just one question from my side. You're trying to edit the enterprise, right? There, if you're able to see, one is update, other one is reorg, the other is delete.
Correct.
What does it mean?
See that
Are
we
you
don't need
deleting
to understand those are HCM functionality.
Understood, but you said it's only one instance, right? But why they have delete functionality over there?
No. See,
Are they
we have
the record over there? What
no.
record they're there into?
I'll explain. Correct and update. Basically, as per HCM, the update functionality they use when they create new record. Correct functionality they use when they are really updating. So within the HRMS or HCM, they have a functionality called as date tracking. Okay, date tracking functionality. That means, so when you talk about HRMS, that's purely employee related information, employee and the employee payroll. So any function, many functions this function, this correct update is applicable. Say they are going to change the enterprise related information. So they want to track on which date, okay, on which date the changes we are doing, they want to track it. So that is the reason. So normally after creating, first time when they are creating the record, okay, within the record, if they are trying to add separate section of information, they'll go with update. Or else complete record is already created, existing data they are going to change. In that case, they use the function called as correct. So today we are going to change one value, existing value we are changing. In that case, you have to select correct option, then system will be tracking on 29th March 2018, so and so field data is modified. Earlier this is the data we have, now this is the data we have. For that we have a separate table in HCM. Update. So you have an existing record, in that some section of data is not available, you are trying to add it. If that is a purpose, you are going to that page or the definition, you have to select as update. That means some new fields of data you are going to enter, then system will be tracking with the update functionality, these are the data is added into this so and so record. So that is completely HCM. In EBS case, HRMS also, in EBS also we have this functionality. Okay, we no need to do anything when I talk about finance. Hope this is clear.
Yeah, update and delete is clear, but why there is a delete over there?
Sorry?
Why there is a delete?
Where delete?
Delete for the enterprise. The same place where you're trying to correct and update, there is a delete as well.
That delete is not deleting record. It will just just to refresh that record. That's it. Okay, all the information, default information will remain. The name and all, if you want to refresh, you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Lakshman, here also we can create multiple BUs, right, under one enterprise.
There is no BU. First
all those concepts.
BU you are talking. Okay. Multiple BUs you
right,
can have. Yes. Multiple business units you can have.
Same concept. Okay.
Yeah, same. That should be right. So the operations, like how the organization do the
right. Yeah.
And to model into the system, definitely should be able to create the multiple BUs. See, Oracle did not change too much. The naming convention they changed. OU we are calling as BU. That's it. Okay. The logic they didn't change.
And business group.
They changed. Yeah, please.
We can have more than one business group. Like in EBS, we
don't have a business group concept. We don't have business group concept in the Fusion. So what is the use of business group in the Fusion, the EBS?
Like for different, if there are companies in different countries, we can have different business group based on the country or something like that.
To maintain the country specific employees information, right? Here we have enterprise concept. It's very high level for HCM, and within that country specific HR organizations, they can create and they can manage country specific solution. We have legislative data groups also, which will be pointing specific country payroll process. For country specific employees information, they can create HR organization. They want to manage within that country department specific also. They can manage. They can create the relevant HR organizations. That's how they can manage. Here there is no need of creating a business group which will represent one or multiple countries employees information. So top level we have enterprise, country specific. So organizations, HR organizations, they can create as a part of HRMS HCM solution. Okay, so these are the points we have to understand. So any questions from anyone, please? So no questions. That's all for today. We'll connect tomorrow and we'll continue from here. Thank you all. Have a good day and good night.